Hey guys, sorry that's been a bit between videos. I got a bit carried away at the end of this day. This is the last couple of shots of the previous video where I was taking the chairs out and my camera went flat. I just went ahead and took that anyway. So I don't have any footage. This is the only one I've got of just deassembling some of the plastic trim on the side. But for this video, I'm trying to clean out the interior of the car. I bought myself a wet vac and I was going to go have a look and trying to clean out some of these tan interior cloth pieces to varying levels of success. So in this video, you can basically expect terrible camera angles, such as this one right here, which is sensational. This one, which, there you go. Another absolute killer here. You can definitely see what I'm working on. And, this one too, which is, I'm blocking everything out with my big fat head. So basically wanted to start off by vacuuming everything out of the car. So the seats are all out at this point and I'm just getting all the gunk and leaves off and out from the interior. This was a pretty, easy procedure, just vacuuming up all the junk. Nothing too big of a deal there. Did manage to pick up like $22 in coins from underneath the chairs. So there you go. So the total of the car is now $22 cheaper. So here's just after a quick vacuum inside the car, just with the seats out. So it's looking pretty nice back there.
Nice.
The wet vacuum that I purchased, it was just a cheapy one from my local car store. Not really used one before, so I was a bit unsure of how it was going to work. That's the one there. So I kind of just followed the instructions in terms of the mix. Didn't know how to use it at first. Was a bit concerned with spraying too much liquid inside the car, but this thing worked really well. It just sucks so much gunk out of the carpet, and you can see it in the little clear head of the device there. When you go over a particularly dirty spot, it just comes up all brown and dark and just sucks it all out, which was really cool to see because I wasn't sure how effective this would actually be. So after doing a couple spots with it, I felt pretty good. It was just, I guess later on there were some more difficult areas where the stains were a little bit more, baked into the fabric and whatnot. So this back seat in particular didn't really end up looking that great, especially in the footage after, because the cloth is all dark. So you can see there a little bit in it. It comes out really, really brown when it's going over whatever that stain is on the chair. But in the process of wetting down these chairs, all the fabric got a lot darker. So I think in a couple shots time when we pan out, it doesn't look that great, but it really, after drying, turned out a lot better than what was captured in the footage here. So just sort of going over it now. The solution that I used was just what came with the pack when I bought it at the time, and I'm actually using cold water. I know hot water will activate a bit better and help loosen up whatever is in the cloth, but I was a bit concerned with using hot water on whatever these stains were and potentially baking it into the material. So I thought I'd do a first pass with some cold water to pick anything up, and then sort of have a little bit of a judgment call with the hot water after the fact. And to this point, I still haven't done a hot water vac yet. I was trying to get a little bit more advice on that before potentially ruining it, but I was pretty happy with the first pass. I mean, this is all pretty low effort in terms of what's being done. It's just, I'm just going over it with a vacuum. It's nothing, there's not a huge amount of chemicals or anything like that being used in the process. So in terms of, reward for the amount of effort that was put in, I'm pretty happy with it. It's not perfect. There's still definitely some spots which are pretty bad. One in particular under the passenger seat here, but again, it's under the passenger seat, so you don't actually see it. So I'm not super fussed. So next up here, I'm just cleaning up some of the plastic interior trim pieces, so the glove box here, which has just got all sorts of just crap spilt down it. Like, I think it must have been just like drinks and liquid and food and whatnot. You can see it's all sort of built up in the metal just down beneath it there as well. But it was nothing, a little bit of elbow grease and rubbing didn't really get out. I used just some regular cleaning solution for this, and then went over it again with like a plastic restorer, because I was a bit concerned that these plastic pieces haven't really had anything to I guess, moisturize it in a really long time. So I'm hoping here that this solution that I've got has actually helped give it a little bit more life. I got a bit carried away here. I decided I want to try and clean some of this metal out. It was really sticky and gunky, and honestly I think if I really wanted to have a good shot at cleaning this out, I'd probably need to take the glove box and all the carpet out, but that's just not what I was really looking to do in this project at this point of time. So here on the other side, just doing the same process again, just covered in gunk and whatnot from probably 530,000 kilometers worth of crap in the car, really. The center pieces of plastic were actually pretty good. They were all relatively well kept together. The lid of the glove box just above where I'm cleaning now is a little bit worn. It's losing a bit of color. You can see the tip is more black. That's probably just to people putting their elbows on it and resting on it and sort of wearing that down in time. So I might see if I can separate that and potentially spray paint it or give it a little bit more life back separate to the rest of it, because I think the rest of it after cleaning it came out quite good. At this point, just going around the doors and cleaning out all the cobwebs and dirt and dust. Now there's a lot of dust in this car everywhere. Since this video I've taken apart some of the doors because I needed to fix one of the locks in it, and that'll come in a future video just briefly. But inside the door there's just so much red sand from, I guess, like where the seals just aren't very good on the window, or maybe the window is down or whatever it may be. It was a lot in there. So it's just in every single corner and crevice of this sort of exterior of the car. I know it's inside, but it gets a lot of dirt inside the door jambs and everything like that. So I'm just going through the seals here, which is all just filled with junk, and just running my finger through it and trying to pull it all out. This doesn't make the car look amazing, but a lot of the work that I'm trying to do today is just to sort of get all the gunk and the feel of it being someone else's car out of it, so I'm comfortable to sit in it and sort of work in it and move it around. You can't go on the road yet, but after this whole process I have been a lot more comfortable with it. It's sort of just getting out the previous people and making it a little bit more of my own. So here's just a quick little panning shot so you can see what I was talking about before with how dark those back seats look. It doesn't look that bad in the sun and when after it dried out a little bit, but I was pretty happy with the first pass. I mean, the door cards, I still haven't done those. I did a little bit here and there, but I have done a pass through after the fact to try and clean it up. So this is, I think it's a day after now, and doing my second try at wet vacuuming. I did a little bit of research and wanted to try a couple different things. Still only working with cold water here, but this is only to clean the two front seats which I had taken out. They were particularly dirty. I mean, they get the most use out of everything in the car. So I bought some more solution. I sort of mixed that up, not very well. I mean, I just sort of eyeballed it, but I'm not really too concerned with that solution. I think it's more of the prep work which will help these chairs out more than whatever little amount of soap that you actually put in it. So here I'm using a cloth fabric cleaner, and I've got a soft sort of bristle brush here to sort of rub it in and sort of scrub it into the surface to hopefully try and release some of the dirt and grime that's actually inside the chair. You can see from here really that the back of the chair, it's quite stained up, like it has a lot of dark patches and whatnot. So I was just hoping that this would sort of get some of it out, but it didn't. So yeah, here we go, going over with the wet vacuum here, trying to just moisten it up to get as much suction out of it and get as much junk out of that chair. This stain underneath, like where you sit, it's particularly hard to get out, and unfortunately that is the driver's side seat. So I mean, I don't know how much more cleaning I'll have to do to get that out. I really try to scrub it and sort of put extra solution. I even tried putting some degreaser on this chair just in case it's like some oily grease, but it did get better, but it didn't clean all the way out. Nonetheless, it was a pretty good learning experience. I mean, I was really happy with the end result. Could it be better? Yeah, absolutely. Could I spend more time on this? For sure. Like, this was mainly like maybe between the previous day's work and today was only a couple of hours, maybe 3 or so, and a lot of that was to sort of putting the car back together and also taking it up. So I definitely didn't commit as much time as maybe some other professionals may do, but I was really just trying to do a little bit. And here we go, I'm trying to spray a lot more into it here and let it soak for a while. I think I scrub it in a tick as well to sort of really, I guess, activate whatever it is that it's spraying. And it did do a better job. Every single time I went over it, it did get a little bit better, but it's not perfect, and that's okay, because it's really just like a sort of like an amateur try and clean it up. So I've done the same sort of prep work here, just spraying it over this chair a lot and trying to clean it up. So yeah, this is the degreaser part where I tried to spray some degreaser onto it. I don't know if it was a good idea. It didn't really seem to hurt the chairs, but it didn't do an amazing job either. I was just trying to, really work out how to get these stains out, and I think you can see even from here, it's not finished, it hasn't dried out yet, but it looks a lot better than when we first started. Essentially, that stain is shrunk down a lot, so I was pretty happy with that. These are the little trim pieces that go around the chairs and cover it up from the back as well. So these were all just like covered in just like sticky gunk and whatnot, so just using a little bit of cleaner and a little bit of plastic cleaning solution as well to sort of put it, again, same as the glove box, put some moisture into it and hopefully make that a bit better than before. And these turned out really well. The side compartments here of the two front seats turned out pretty good. They were pretty heavily stained and gunky, and the carpet in the driver's side one, because they've got little bits of carpet inside it. I don't actually know what you would actually use these pieces for. I mean, maybe you could put your phone in it, or like your wallet or your keys and whatnot, because there's not too much like space in the middle console of it, which is pretty neat, I guess. But the driver's side one, the carpet inside it was a little bit moldy, so I managed to clean it out with the different attachment for the wet vac. So I was really happy with that, because I was concerned that I just need to rip it out and find an offcut that looks kind of similar and put it inside. But after a little bit of cleaning there and just spraying it down and whatnot, it actually ended up really nice. So I'm happy just to leave it as is now, which is a little win. So yeah, this is just the inside there after cleaning it out. I mean, it was black before. It's still dark in there, but a lot of that's just to do with it being wet. So after I let these dry for a little bit, because I didn't really want to put them in the car being soaking wet, we tried to put the chairs back in. Now, taking them out, I didn't have any footage of taking it out, as I mentioned earlier, but I did struggle a little bit, and it wasn't the easiest process. It's the first chairs I'd ever taken out of any car, so I had to research that and look it up a bit. These chairs sort of, whilst they bolt into place, they've also got a slide in as well, and I found it difficult to get both sides slid out at the same time. So after sort of fiddling around here for a while, I found that spot, pushed it in, and that sort of went together well.
"2,000 years later."
After I was happy with the placement, I just sort of bolted them back into the car and we're good to go. Tell you what though, the hardest part of actually putting these chairs back into place was these little plastic trim pieces that I was cleaning up earlier, but sliding it over these bolts in the rear, they were really tricky, and I found it quite hard to get out, and I was also really nervous of snapping and breaking them, and I'm pretty sure I did actually break one of the clips on one of them, but it wasn't such a big deal because I managed to actually just use it for like the piece closest to the glove box here, and it's sort of, you can't even tell that it broke. It's not visible. It doesn't lock into place, but it definitely stays there and holds well, at least on the one side, and I sort of positioned the glove box over it so it couldn't move anyway, so that was a little bit of a save there. I really need to fix this was it the back chair department. I can't remember what that's called off the top of my head anymore. It's a bit saggy. I might have to cut that open and tighten whatever's in there, or re-put a piece of string in there to keep it a little bit less saggy, because that's looking pretty miserable right there. So after just like really putting those in place and sort of hitting them a couple of times, yeah, they eventually came in. So I'm just plugging the chairs back in here, sticking that under the carpet and putting this bit back on. This bit I struggled to get off and I actually snapped it. So what I'm doing here is I'm using a washer to sort of hold it into place a bit better, so it grips the plastic a bit better into where it is. But the clips that go into that side part, as you can see just there, if my head ever gets out of the way, it doesn't lock in anymore. I'm not too concerned about that. I think it's super easy to fix. I mean, as for broken plastics, that's not really a big deal. The only thing that I have a little bit of strife with this chair is that cloth near that sort of glove department thing, or not the glove department, but that little side console part of the chair has come out of its seams there, so it's loose. It doesn't look that great, so I need to work out a solution for that. So I was really happy there. I just managed to slide the chair into the spot like instantly. It just like fell in, and so I didn't even have to move it. That literally took like 4 seconds to put that chair back in, and after fiddling around with the bolts for a while, it was just straight into the car. So super happy with that one. After struggling with the first 3 chairs, both taking them out and putting that first one back in, the fourth one just fell into place. So, you know, clearly improving here. You know, absolute professional when it comes to putting chairs back in now. So if you need a chair put back in, just give me a buzz. I'm sure I'll struggle. I mean, yeah. So yeah, both chairs are back in now. There are the dogs, my little support crew, just sitting in the back of my car there. It's quite cute having them hanging around. Just they were more interested in me throwing the ball to them every now and then than anything that I was doing. But you know, getting them to sit in the back of the car there was a little bit of a win, because they like to run around a lot. So just putting this last piece of plastic together on the passenger side here. Struggled with this for ages. I don't know what I did wrong. I also forgot to put the seatbelt in, that's right. I started to put it together and then realized, hang on, where's the seatbelt? So I tightened that one back up there, and then just had to put that back on. But I just couldn't line up with the screwdriver where it was supposed to go properly, and I think I just awkwardly lie on the floor and whatnot. I don't know why. It's trying to get it into place. There you go. Adjust the camera there, you can see better. This took like 3 or 4 minutes for just one screw, so there you go. That's classic me being a bit of a knob there. But they all went back in together, and I was pretty happy with it by the end of it. Like, put all the chairs back in, didn't manage to break too much, and it was all done. So yeah, that's pretty much all of it for this video. Sorry it's been such a long time between my last upload. I just hadn't got around to actually doing the voiceover part for this. I was going to do a couple more things in this video, as mentioned in my last one, but I figured the cleaning was just enough for one video. Like, this is already nearly 20 minutes long as it is, so I mean, if you stuck around to the end, well done to you. But yeah, so we've got the interior parts and other bits and bobs, including those lights like I mentioned in the last video, to do later on. So I'll compile that into another video, and you'll see that one shortly. I don't know if it's been a couple weeks since this was filmed, so there's a little bit of progress done on the car. So we'll look forward to sharing that with you shortly. Thanks a lot guys for watching the video. I'll catch you next time. Bye.